Yo, 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 what's going on? It's the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Cool Ya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, and I'm here with the homies of the NRW squad. First up, joining me for this What If review, a cat that's super cool. He leads the You're So Cool with Rob Medina show. Mr. Rob Medina, what's up, Rob?
All is good, man. I'm so excited to get into episode 2, man.
Yeah, it's good to have you on some Marvel shit, man. What if Rob Medina was part of our Marvel reviews? We're answering that question now. Rob is in the house. Thanks for joining us, Rob.
Oh, thank you for having me, man.
And of course, we can't do this until we're leveled up from the Blur Dad himself, my Marvel partner in crime, as always, Mr. Glenn Lawrence. What's up, Glenn?
What is going on, Kuya P? I'm happy to be doing this. Man, I can't wait to get into it and piss y'all off, because the first one I pissed y'all off.
What if Glenn Lawrence pisses us off? What if Glenn feels the same way about episode 2 as he did with episode 1? Well, we're about to find out. But before we do that, let's throw it to the trailer for episode 2, Marvel's What If. Here we go right now.
Where you want to be? You sure don't seem too freaked out about all this, kid. What you doing out there all by yourself anyway?
Exploring the world.
Sounds fun. A Ravager never flies solo. You had me worried for a second.
Journey to face the unknown. What If? Streaming Wednesday, only on Disney+.
Give me the tour.
Boom! There you go. Episode 2, What If? There's your trailer. We're not going to break it down. I'm going to kick it over to Rob, the movie guy, aka Rob Medina, government name, to break down the story of Marvel's What If. What's up, Rob? Tell us what's going on in this episode.
Well, Agent KP, I am happy to report here with the plot of this story that we're getting into right now. First of all, the question is, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? And that is where we're going to get our answers here, because if he was Star-Lord, this is what would happen. Thanos would not be the Thanos we all know today. And what happened to Gamora? We don't know, but we do know that Nebula is still part of the storyline, and somehow, some way, Howard the Duck is also part of the storyline too. They're a lot more integral part this time around. And not only that, we also get to find out too what really did happen to Peter Quill in this particular storyline. But we also get to find out what also happened to Ego as well too, which is another very interesting perspective of the story that I was not expecting at all. But I think really what I can take away the most, we can really kind of highlight about this story, was that we are going to see a interesting approach with a character that I just did not expect at all to be included in this What If universe, in this storyline that we have with the Guardians of the Galaxy, if you will. So we know we have T'Challa now becoming Star-Lord, and this T'Challa is still more or less the charismatic man that we all know and love, but he's also providing a unique perspective, a very wise individual who helps pretty much change the landscape of all space, if you will, providing some people with some advice that could have gone in one way and then really brought him to the right path, if you will, that has completely changed the landscape of the Marvel universe in my mind. And I think that's pretty much where I've taken away the most when it comes to this plot here. So I'm sure we're going to get to some spoilers here. So for anyone out there who hasn't seen the episode yet, this is your final warning, because we're going to get into spoilers moving forward from here. So gentlemen, okay, I'm sure you guys want to get into this one as well too. So who is going to be breaking into the story? I think it's going to be you, Glenn. Am I right?
No, well,
I meant to say the characters. I mean,
the characters, but I think the characters go hand in hand with the story.
Yeah.
And you know, the premise of this one is, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? And we go from there. So T'Challa, he basically gets that cool intro that we got from Guardians of the Galaxy. First thing you'll notice is he's walking in very cool. He's not dancing around like Star-Lord, you know. So that's your first indication of like, oh, it's a little bit different. And I thought it was kind of, you know, it was interesting, you know, like Star-Lord. I think the story in this one, they show that Star-Lord has had a impact all over the galaxy, because as soon as he comes in, what's his name? how do you say
Korath the Pursuer?
Korath the
Jaimin
Pursuer.
Hunsu?
Yeah, exactly.
Hansu,
Yeah. He says, "Oh, Star Lord!" Like he's so excited to meet him, and I think that was kind of a clever way to say, "Hey, Star Lord has been all over the galaxy, figuring things or making all these different connections or whatever." So that's kind of the first little swap there. He still goes through, still has to break out, but break out with the Power Stone, and he comes back. We see Yondu is basically his daddy giving him fatherly advice. So it's really, really interesting. A lot of the characters in this movie have changed. You see the Black Order is now like totally doing something different. Thanos is a totally different person. And everyone's kind of happy. It's like a more jovial universe. Like if T'Challa was out in the universe, it's just a happier universe, so to speak, except for the Collector, who is all of a sudden buff now. He's like
been working out, pushing weight.
I guess Star-Lord being in the
really
universe.
Pushing all them boxing crazy. You have to think, man. He has all these objects he's collected. That's gonna, build out some muscle a little bit, right?
You know something about that, Kuya P, because you got you're the collector of our MCU. But yeah, those are kind of the characters that get all mixed around, and it's kind of a fun little ride. Of course, I feel like last episode I was like, I didn't like it. It was too far of a jump. This one, I also kind of felt the same way. However, I felt like it was kind of more of a let's just have fun with it. And it was kind of, if you take yourself out of what was, it is kind of fun to see, Thanos being like a good father. But it also was like, what if Thanos didn't have drive? Like he didn't have like self-actualization, He's just
I didn't even think about it like that.
Well, he's like he's talking about he's like talking about doing big things, but then he doesn't actually do anything, and everyone kind of just makes fun of him, like, that kind of sounds like genocide. He's like, no, seriously, instead of being like, no, I'm really going to do this.
It's like the running gag.
Yeah, it's like a running gag as opposed to like he actually did try to take over the universe. But I guess that's what they were going for. It's a little bit more lighthearted, probably fun for the kids. You know what I'm saying? We still get some hijinks, we still get some action in it, so it's cool. I guess I'm toning down my dislike for What If, and I'm kind of like, this one was okay. Like if the last one out of 10 I gave it like a 5 or a 6, this one I give like a 7.5. I enjoyed it somewhat, but I still thought it was kind of like, how does Star-Lord being how does T'Challa being Star-Lord make Thanos not want to take, like, that's weird. Maybe he saved Titan. I don't know. But the other thing was, don't you think Wakanda, like if their prince was kidnapped and taken to space, like they would have built spaceships and went and got him?
Well, spoilers, that's why we had the ship part, right? When he was going through I forgot where they exactly were.
Yeah, I think it was
on the Watcher's area.
It was on what? Wasn't it the planet of what or whatever where the Collector was at?
But I mean, I just think that personally, I feel like the Wakandans are very like precise. Like I don't think they would have not gotten him because he was taken when he was a child.
Would have been a little more savvy about how to get him.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my take. That's where I'm thinking about all the characters. We get a great mashup of all these different characters. They're doing different things. You get to see them in different light. You get to see more of the Black Order, which was cool because we didn't get as much of that in Infinity War. Like they got to do some stuff, but most of them got killed off pretty quickly. This one we get to see them in a little bit more action. We get to see Proxima Midnight, being kind of badass. So that was kind of cool. I don't know. I enjoyed it. What did you think, Kuya P? Because I see you're not scowling at me like last week.
No, because I'm hoping you didn't change in regards to my benefit. Like I hope you're just coming at it how you want to, because I want you to be your true and authentic self.
No, of course.
So don't change on my account.
I think I didn't like the first one. This one I was like,
You liked it a little bit better though.
I liked it a little bit. I still didn't like it, right? But I liked it a little bit better than the last one. But I guess 7 is a high ranking.
Yeah, it's a decent number.
I didn't
point and a half higher than what we got last time. So I'll take it.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was. You know what it was? I feel like the first one it kind of softened the blow of like, we're just going to go out like outlandish on everything, like we really are going to change everything regardless of what the What If is,
Right.
I hope they keep up that method. I'm kind of curious looking at what's coming up next. Well, we're going to talk on episode 3 eventually, which we've already had the chance to look at. But like 3 steps out of that, it breaks the mold of what they did with 1 and 2. I'm curious how the 4, 5, 6, I think to up to 8. I think it's 8 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. How the rest of it's going to be, if they're going to continue on the same mold as episode 1 and 2, because 1 and 2 were very similar fashion. How it's going to be for the next batch of the series, because there's other stories kind of in that realm I'd like to see them do. Yeah. But for me, the biggest thing for episode 2, man, I as a fan of the Guardians universe, as a fan of Black Panther, number 1, and I have to verify this because the tone sounded different, but T'Challa, I'm seeing reports that it was Chadwick Boseman voicing.
I think they confirmed that.
But then at the same time watching it, because we saw it early before its release. We saw it like 2 or 3 weeks early, right? We didn't get the title credits, so they didn't have all the credits listed when we watched it. So I didn't see Chadwick Boseman there. But now the discussion has been since then that it was Chadwick. But then listening to it again and recalling it, there's moments it sounded like Chadwick Boseman, but then it's also didn't seem like it was Chadwick Boseman personally. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys felt the same. If it was somebody trying to mimic his tone and his inflection and his voice, or if it really was him. So if it was him, what's crazy to me, and again, seeing these reports about them saying that it was, this is the last time Chadwick Boseman played Black Panther. So that kind of hit me hard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because he was such an amazing person, actor. And then we all know he fucking killed it as Black Panther. So it's kind of just sad. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling all the feelings, even saying that right now, this is the last time we're getting Chadwick as this titular character, and just where he just was so amazing. And so if it was, rest in peace, and just wow. And he killed it. So that was sentimental there. And then also, as a fan of Guardians, Michael Rooker coming back to be Yondu. I don't know about y'all, but I cried when his character died in Guardians 2, man. I did too. It was so good. So for those reasons alone, as a fan of Black Panther and as a fan of Yondu, Michael Rooker, we got to see those characters again. So I loved it. And then again, I love the story. I love that melding between the Star-Lord and T'Challa. So. And again, based off of the first episode, I was a fan of the What If storylines. I feel Glenn's feelings in every way in regards to certain elements of changing the What If instead of a full change. But I'm with it. I'm a Marvel stan. I'm down with it. But if there's 2 things I'd like to point out, if you're a fan of Yondu and if you're a fan of T'Challa and Chadwick, they gave it to us. And if this is their last performance as these characters, thank you, Marvel. That's all I have to say about that.
I think I would have been much more cool with it if we would have seen the ripple. You know what I mean? Seeing the ripple effect from the thing happening that caused, all these other changes. The reason why Thanos is this way. Like if we could have saw that thread instead of they just pop up and it happened. I will agree with you that it's really dope to get these characters, get this, these last installments of these people. Man, Yondu, that oh man, when they did
I brought it back. You remembering your feeling when he died, right?
Man. Right. I remember after crying about, or like when I was crying, I was like, how am I crying in a movie about a tree that says 4 words and a talking raccoon?
That one too. The first one we were crying, they made us cry in both volumes.
Both of them.
I'll admit it, right?
Yeah.
Can we all admit we cried with both volumes? James Gunn, I fucking love you, man. You're amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Killed it,
Great
dude.
job, dude.
And with the fucking Suicide Squad. I know we're doing a Marvel review, but man, he made me cry with fucking King Shark sitting in that van while everybody else was in the bar doing their thing. He was in there crying. Did y'all see that? He was actually, I watched it the second time. Remember, I think after we did our Suicide Squad review, we all discussed seeing it again. Yeah. I actually didn't see it that night after our review, but I watched it the following day. Yeah. And I noticed, because I think you guys pointed it out to me that when he was in the van, he was actually crying in the van.
Yeah.
while everybody else was inside, and that fucking
Party.
broke my heart.
Yeah.
That broke my heart, man.
Yeah. Man.
In
Yeah,
our
James-
way, man, I feel you, brother.
Yeah,
No,
James Gunn, definitely did something great with Marvel and adding like a unique comedy and heartfelt story with these unknown characters to the mass public, and then bringing them to a worldwide audience, and now everyone knows who Guardians of the Galaxies are. So to see, for me, to still have that same impact with the characters that we have grown to love, a lot of it because we know that that Chadwick obviously had passed away, unfortunately due to cancer, but still have that impact post his death, and knowing that we all miss him, but watching this, hearing him, and seeing him play this character again, I was like, God damn, this is, we'll never get that back. This is the closest we'll ever get to that. So I agree with you 100%. And it's nice to see that Marco Rucco was back as Yondu, because you mentioned it as well. I was in theaters when I saw Volume 2 with my son, and I bust into tears because I think that's the first and only superhero movie I've ever saw that made me cry. Yeah. And it happened to be a property that I was not familiar with prior to the series coming part of the Marvel universe. I was only familiar with Guardians just mainly off of toys, but never off the actual comics themselves. So the fact that a story that I was not familiar with getting me to in that place of like really connecting with the characters like that, and a character that I just did not expect to like at all, to be completely honest with you, right? And he turned out to be the heart of the whole story. So having him back was a really nice added set of values that I thought sentiment I meant to say that really made me feel good watching this show. And in a lot of ways, it was a lot of happy closure, if you will, with all these characters being back into the fold. And unfortunately, we're never going to really know, I would imagine, what's going to happen with this particular storyline, if at all. So if this is all we're going to be getting, I'm content with what we got so far. So I have no complaints whatsoever. I know you did, Glenn, and I see where you're coming from, but this is one of those rare moments where I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to have to disagree with you. This was a very good episode, like really, really good.
But wait, didn't you say you were trying to figure out where Gamora was in this episode?
Yeah, we don't know where she went.
You know what? That will be my one complaint about this episode. They didn't give us a Gamora take, right?
She was the bartender. I thought she was the bartender.
Was she? I don't remember. I know Drax was a bartender.
I think who was?
Drax
was, yeah.
I thought she was a bartender.
You may be right. I don't remember seeing her as a bartender. I don't recall. I know Drax.
Yeah, I have to watch it again.
Him, and it wasn't Dave Bautista who voiced him.
And because we didn't see, no Rocket was in there, no Groot. Yeah, we only really had Nebula and Thanos and Drax from the
and I think
the
it's
regular
a testament
Guardians and
Yondu. To the episode that they were able.
We had Taserface. We had more Taserface than anything, which was hilarious.
But they didn't bring back the core characters in the movie. Yeah. I'm sorry, in this episode, which I think it was a benefit to them because it just showed, like, at least for me, like how good the story was, how good the characters worked well with one another, and that's a testament, in my opinion, about how, even though the main people that we're familiar with aren't in this episode, it honestly didn't really matter because
it's still a Guardians team. You can, they gave us more Korath, more Taserface.
Yeah. I think
it was a different team.
I was just looking at it. I think Gamora is going to have another episode of What If.
It's possible
that she's featured in more.
That'll be nice.
So that might be why she wasn't in this one. I could have swore she was the bartender, but I'm wrong.
Well, I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Same here.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? I might watch these all over again, and then I'll have a different conclusion.
A whispering change of review.
But because I looked at it, and then a lot of the first episode, there was a lot of lore that I wasn't familiar with. I was like, oh, okay, like Excalibur and like how that is all in the Marvel universe and the Hydra monster or whatever. It's like, oh, these are things that I wasn't aware of because I guess I'm not that far deep into it. I got to get deeper into it. See, that's my fault.
It's all good, dude. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You're actually getting a real base review that I think most people have. That
we accept your apology.
It's all love, dude.
Yeah,
like
teasing you.
I love that perspective, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the voice, really, of most people that aren't as nerdy as your boy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I like that. Come with it, man. Nah, it's good. So reviews. Glenn, a little bit better than episode 1.
I enjoyed it. I'm getting into it. I'm digging. You know what? I didn't read the comics, and so now I'm kind of getting acclimated to the whole what if universe. And I'm like, all right, I can dig it. All right, cool. I'm just going along for the ride. Let's see what happens in episode 3.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rob, you're on the same line too. You didn't read too much of the comic books, but you're enjoying it.
I have enjoyed a lot with what I've seen so far, and this definitely by far is in my opinion is better than episode 1, which I liked episode 1 as we mentioned before.
Yeah,
definitely this is a step up, and I think this is kind of a good way to kind of break people into this particular universe, not throwing all the big, I guess spectacle. Just kind of try something soft to kind of weave them into it, and then later on as the story or the series progresses, I'm sure we're going to get bigger and I would say better surprise, but just more interesting turn of events that I think will be really interesting for us to see how it all unfolds at the end. So I'm curious to see how that will be the case here.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. So, I dug it. And one of the most sentimental things, though, if this was Chadwick Boseman's last time, man, again, rest in peace to a legend who gave us so much with himself and the craft. And also just a shout out to Michael Rooker, man, to come back, who gave us with what he put down as Yondu, man. I loved it. And, again, he made us cry when his character, passed away on the screen. So, just sentimental for those reasons for me, to just see them be those characters that we love so much. And it was a lot of fun. So let's sign off until our next What If, and our What If Glenn will like episode 3. Glenn, how can they reach out to you to also, blast you for your commentary for this episode?
Well, yeah, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share, this. You can find me always here with the NRW peeps doing these whispering reviews and other reviews. You can also find me at levelupcomedy.com. Glenn Lawrence Laughs and Glenn Lawrence Comedy on your Facebook, your IG, and Twitter.
Yes, sir.
Also, Blurred Dad Podcast.
Yes, the Blurred Dad Podcast. Follow that. Subscribe to that. Rob.
And you can follow me on my social media accounts. I have an Instagram page at Rob_Medina0585, on Twitter, Rob Medina0585, Facebook, simply just Rob Medina, and follow my show's social media accounts too. It's also on the channel as well. So You're So Cool with Rob Medina on Instagram, and on Twitter, You're So Cool WRM. Yep.
There you go. Show love to Rob Medina, Glenn Lawrence, Blurred Dad, Mr. You're So Cool. Show them love. Give them all the love, all the follows. For your boy, Kuyapi, that's me. You can follow me at Strange Since 1977, as well as at Temple Far East, the legend Kuya P over on the TikToker, the Nerds of Color, and Show Pal Show, where I give you that POC representation as well as Philippine X representation. And of course, with my homies, Rob and Glenn and Loy and Rue and Anita, the NRW. Follow us at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. We're up out of here, y'all. Till the next What If.
Cheers.
What if? Cheers. We're out of here. Deuces.